Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have another great show for you tonight. Standing by in the wings, ready to bring us musical accompaniment is Mr. John Cornett. How are you tonight, John?
I'm really good, Paul. Thank you very much.
Great, great. And right next to me is that zany guy, Casper Leach. Hey, how you doing?
Happy Friday. Thank
Happy
you
Friday
for having
to
me
you.
here.
Welcome for you. We have some very interesting hemp news tonight. The news about hemp and cannabis keeps coming faster and faster. But before we get into that, of course, we're going to bring on our infamous dancing cannabis leaves. Here they are. Won't be long. They're going to dance. You're going to boogie. It's going to be pretty cool.
That help?
You're going to see it.
Okay.
You would know.
I feel the force.
Live TV. Don't you love live TV?
Yeah, we do.
I love it, or I wouldn't be doing it, right? All these years, gee. Okay, our hemp news tonight starts out with cannabis as alternative medicine for MS. Medical marijuana may be the most effective complementary or alternative medicine to ease the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, according to new guidelines from the American Academy of Neurology, released on Monday. The category of complementary and alternative medicines, or CAM, includes non-traditional therapies often used in addition to and sometimes instead of doctor-recommended treatments. The guidelines are based on recommendations from a committee of 9 doctors chosen by the AAN, each of whom is an expert on complementary and alternative medicines. The panel reviewed 291 studies covering medical literature from the past 43 years. Of those, 115 studies made the cut. According to the lead author, Dr. Virajay Yadav, the clinical director of the Oregon Health Sciences University's Multiple Sclerosis Center, he said, quote, "This is the first ever review evidence-based recommendation on the treatment of multiple sclerosis with complementary or alternative medical therapies." And there were 29 different therapies included in the guidelines. 19 studies looked at cannabis. New guidelines are intended to assist doctors who decide if CAM therapies can help reduce specific symptoms or further disability, make the disease worse or cause side effects, or interfere with other MS treatments. So that study's happening right here, River City at Oregon Health Sciences University. Across the river in Washington State, more than 7 in 10 Washington State residents support a legal marijuana business opening in their neighborhood, according to a new survey with the level of support almost as high as in Colorado. The survey of nearly 2,200 consumers from Washington and Colorado revealed that residents of both states think about the legalization of recreational cannabis, according to AVO Inc., an online legal question and answer forum. 71% of Washington residents and 67% of Colorado residents support cannabis businesses opening in their neighborhood, according to the survey. 43% said they plan to purchase in the future, and 70% of them believe that bringing cannabis to a dinner party will become as routine as a bottle of wine in the not too distant future. While residents of both legal states are welcoming marijuana businesses, they do have concerns. 43% are worried about kids having greater access to it, but of course they already did under Prohibition, and legal marijuana stores won't sell to them under legalization. And 42% are concerned about increased numbers of people driving under the influence of marijuana. But statistics show that traffic fatalities have fallen in medical marijuana states. In other news in Colorado, residents of Colorado who were convicted of marijuana possession before recreational legalization measure Amendment 64 was passed may be eligible to have those convictions overturned. the Colorado Court of Appeals has ruled. Under Colorado's Amendment 64, as of January 1st, adults 21 and older are allowed to buy up to an ounce of cannabis. But with more than 9,000 marijuana possession cases being prosecuted each year until then, thousands of state residents are now wondering how legalization impacts their previous convictions. A 3-judge state appeals court panel on March 13th ruled that part of an earlier decision in a case against a Colorado woman sentenced in 2011 for marijuana possession should be vacated. If there's been a significant change in the law, there can be post-conviction relief, the appellate court wrote. They wrote, quote, Amendment 64, by decriminalizing the personal use or possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana, meets the statutory requirement for a significant change in the law and eliminates and thus mitigates the penalties for persons convicted of engaging in such conduct, end quote, the judges wrote. Another study here shows that students who smoke only marijuana do better at school than classmates who smoke only tobacco, or who smoke both tobacco and marijuana, according to a new study which tracks substance use among teens over a 30-year period. Scientists at the University of Toronto's Dalla Lana School of Public Health looked at data from a survey given to nearly 39,000 Ontario students between 1981 and 2011. Students in grades 7, 9, and 11 were asked by the Center for Addiction and Mental Health about their tobacco and marijuana use and about their academic performance. Cannabis-only users did better at school than their peers who smoked only tobacco or who smoked both tobacco and cannabis. The findings reflect the fact that fewer students smoke tobacco now than was the case 30 years ago, and that those who do make up a marginalized, vulnerable population, according to the study's lead author, Michael Chaitan, an assistant professor of epidemiology and public health policy. Almost all of the tobacco users, 92%, also use cannabis, according to the study. However, only 1 in 4 marijuana smokers, or 25%, also use tobacco. According to Chaitan, he said of marijuana smokers' academic performance, it's better relatively, end quote. However, marijuana users didn't outperform non-users, Chaitan said, but neither did non-users outperform marijuana users. They were both about the same. You know, over the past 8 days, we have had 6 different states pass bills in one or both of their House chambers that legalized CBD oil for patients, for children, for people with epileptic seizures. Utah, Kentucky, Alabama, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Mississippi have now passed bills. They haven't gone into effect yet, but just in the past 8 days, these 6 states have passed bills that allow CBD oil sales in their state. Our last story tonight, on Saturday, May 3rd, 2014, nearly 300 cities worldwide, including Portland, will participate in the 15th annual Global Cannabis March on Saturday, May 3rd. Portland participants will gather at Pioneer Courthouse Square to march at high noon through downtown Portland, accompanied by a police escort. Our organization, Campaign for the Restoration and Regulation of Hemp, or CRRH, and Oregon Normal are sponsors of the event. Portland participants will gather in Pioneer Courthouse Square to march at high noon through downtown Portland. That's the end of our hemp news segment for tonight. You ready to go, John?
Yes, sir. I have a song for Brother Casper here.
All right.
Here goes, Casper. Do it. It's called Blackbird. And I'm not going to sing it. I'm just going to play it.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
John.
brother. I
Very
did it
nice.
for you, brother.
Very good
It was
job.
rough, but I did it for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Casper, and
Yes.
hello, viewers. Welcome to the show. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at that number right there on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. If you have a question about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, or helping medical marijuana patients, go ahead and give us a call. We're live on the date on the screen there, March 28th. If you're not watching on March 28th, 2014, don't call us.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I noticed in the news that you said that there are so many people that approve of having medical marijuana businesses in the neighborhood.
Yeah, up in Washington
Well, then the rest of the people who don't approve
and
it,
Colorado.
I don't know what to tell those people, because if you're not having a dispensary at the corner, then that means about every third house you can drop by and buy a quarter pound here or quarter ounce there.
Very
or
good point.
2 joints there.
It's not like
Probably go to your
marijuana
kids'
prohibition
room,
has worked,
Right.
you know?
Right. So there's a business right 2 doors down. So
Yeah.
What
Well,
are they gonna do, right?
there's probably more than one grow house on every block, you know.
see,
So maybe in some cases 3 or 4.
so you just need to get over it. It's here to
Guess
stay.
so. I guess so.
Right?
You know, if you don't want it on every block, then maybe you should legalize it so farmers can grow it in big fields. and
Cool.
people who want to use it don't have to pay these exorbitant prices it costs to grow it in little tiny rooms indoors with artificial lights and artificial ventilation. And things
We had
like
a guy
that.
on the show today who was running for governor of New Hampshire, which
Your show, which is Time for Hemp,
live.
live.
And
This is live too, though.
his name is Andrew Hemingway, and it's New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Ted Turner's got a backyard bigger than New Hampshire, but still, it can have a big impact on the nation if someone like him gets in there, because he wants to, like Gatewood, he wants to get rid of the noise jobs and get the green jobs in there and start making oil and start making products out of hemp and start creating an economy that lasts and stop arresting people. And he's unopposed. He's a Republican, which... A Republican? Seriously?
here
Running-
in Oregon-
approving pot?
We've already got the endorsement of for our measures number 21 and 22. We have the endorsements from the Liberty Caucus of the Republican Party of the state of Oregon. And so they have endorsed our initiative, our cannabis amendment to amend the Oregon Constitution. And I know that we have had the endorsement in the past of other political parties. And I'm going to meet tomorrow with the Green Party. They have a meeting tomorrow, and I'm sure I've been told by people in the Libertarian Party we have their endorsement again.
Oh, good.
So we have a lot of politicians that are coming around here. And
Well,
so
I know
things
you
are-
have been diligently working to get this message out.
myself and a whole team, a
You
host
sure
of
have.
folks.
And you guys are doing an amazing job.
You know, we're
and
blessed here in Oregon to have now the nation's premier advocate for marijuana law reform, Representative Blumenauer from right here in Portland, as our representative. And so we're very fortunate to.
It's unusual to find somebody in Congress who you can actually point at and say they're smart and good-hearted.
That's true. That's true. You know, we have these 2 initiatives in circulation right now. If you'd like to go online, you can just print them out and sign it and mail it right back to us, or bring it into our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard. You can go online and print those petitions out at any of our websites that are listed on this television show at any time. That includes the Cannabis Amendment there, and our Cannabis Tax Act, also our crrh.org website, and our hemp.org website. The hemp.org is our traditional panel, but we're focusing on putting these things on the ballot right now. So if you can help us with that, just go there, print that petition out, and mail it into us or bring it into our office. Or if you want us to mail you a package or get involved in any other way, you can call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. Go ahead.
I've
Casper.
noticed that your website's undergoing an awful lot of changes, and you ought to give a big shout out to Steve Elliott. Isn't he the one who's working on it?
He's working on the news aspect. He's
Good job,
publishing a
Steve.
number. It's a whole team of folks. You know, it's,
Yeah?
It's Ico. We've got a new guy named Leo. We've got like you said, Steve Elliott. It's a whole team of folks, actually.
Well, they're doing a beautiful job on your website, so people need to go to your website and check it out on a regular basis because of all the updating going on.
You know, that's right. We update our hemp.org/news site with stories on an average 5 or 6 times a day, and including images, or what they call memes, these images with text that people love to share on the social networks. So we have ours shared quite a bit, and we've seen a pretty phenomenal growth in our largest Facebook website.
Cool.
It has been growing at a rate of 2,000 to 4,000 new likes a day.
Wow.
Since March 11th. I'm not sure what Facebook did to change whatever it is, but somehow, without advertising, without paying any money, our likes on our CRRH campaign website have started to skyrocket as of March 12th. You know, we've put about another 30,000 new followers on the website since March 12th on that site, which is facebook.com/restorehemp, facebook.com/restorehemp. Right now, I think we're at about 385,000 followers on there, and we also post the news on that site as well, so you can read it at facebook.com/restorehemp. But it's gone up that much, I think by next week we might top 400,000.
That is awesome. I keep telling people that there's millions and millions of people who smoke all around the world, and then there's a whole bunch more who grow this and make great products out of this wonderful plant. And if you just keep sharing with all your friends how to find Paul's show and how to find timeforhemp.com, eventually we will be a bigger network than CNN.
Well, I don't know about that, but that seems a little grandiose. But we are definitely already the largest network, I think, in the world, especially through your connections on Time for Hemp's new international network, which you just really started, about 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah.
You're up to 20 some odd shows now?
By accident, yeah. It just fell in my lap. It wasn't.
So you have a
something I
lot
was
of the
looking
leading
for.
experts in the world.
We do.
Mary Lynn Mather, the nurse, and her husband Al
Yeah, we got
Byrne
Mary
out of
Lynn
Virginia
Mather
doing a medical show.
And Al Byrne coming out with Patients at a Time, and then
Our friend Michael Kravitz
got
does his show.
Veterans. He's from Veterans for medical marijuana, and he does an international show. And then every other week, a cannabis history show, a museum show, the Cannabis Museum. Carl Olson comes on and reminds people that no matter what your state tells you, no matter what's going on with your initiatives, when you get right down to it, until they reschedule it in Washington, you're all screwed. The DEA can come in and just really pee all over your birthday party. And then we've got Timothy Tipton from Colorado talking about how they're making the birthday party bigger with all the dispensaries going up and all the new businesses going up. And we got Steve Danks from England, who's talking about how over in England they're becoming more and more harsh and draconian with their laws, and it's becoming more difficult to get the message out. And from Spain and from Chile, we got Mike Bafari telling us in Spanish how we need to end prohibition. We got telling us in French on Friday mornings that the people in France have had their belly full of being told that they can't make paper, fiber, fuel, and medications out of this plant. So collectively, we are debunking the fact that other countries approve of the war on drugs, because globally we have a voice of people who are saying it's destroying their lives, it's ruining their countries, making it difficult to have a prosperous future, and that these insane laws need to end at every corner of the planet. And because of that, we are becoming louder and louder, and we are not going away. Thank you for the shameless plug, Paul. Oh, and
Certainly.
Paul's on there too.
What do you know? We have a little news clip we're going to run now from here in Oregon. Is that thing ready to roll? Okay, we'll be back in just a moment.
Starting today, Oregon's medical marijuana dispensaries are now open for business. The state approved 8 licenses. 3 of them are in Portland, but how will those dispensaries be regulated and monitored?
Right, Ken Boddy spent the day going beyond the headlines to get us some answers.
Well, I'm here in the Pearl District in front of a brand new medical marijuana dispensary called Oregon's Finest. It is one of the 280 businesses statewide that paid $4,000 just to get a license. We wanted to know from state regulators what they're doing to make sure that these businesses follow the law.
Relief. We've been working so hard to create this.
Mark Sid is one of 3 owners of Oregon's Finest.
How do you think this is going to help people in general and people in this neighborhood?
You know, I think people in general were just kind of figuring out cures for different diseases and stuff. And I think the neighborhood, you know, gives us safe access, safe entry in a really nice, clean neighborhood.
There are nearly 60,000 medical marijuana card holders in Oregon with a variety of ailments.
If you have cancer or you have serious pain, high CBD strains are more efficient.
This medical marijuana card holder lives nearby.
Well, I'm glad it's so close to me. Are you kidding? I could fall out of my apartment and come over here and get medication if I needed to.
But a medical pot dispensary in the upscale Pearl District does raise eyebrows.
There's a lot of gray area for people. They can do whatever they feel. So it's not for me personally, but you know, to each their own.
Hello, Tom. I got on the phone with Tom Burns, head of the dispensary program.
Once the license is issued, we will then go out and physically visit the dispensaries to do checks to make sure that, in fact, everything is in place, that they're operating the way they're supposed to be operating, and that the patient's medications are safe.
Sid says the oversight is good. He has a lab test his product as required by state law.
For us, we really want to take that organic approach. We really want to be the kind of the Whole Foods of this industry.
As of right now, cities and towns have the right to ban pot dispensaries temporarily as the legislature works on new rules, and a number of cities have done so, including Beaverton and Hillsborough. I'm told by the state that they plan to approve more medical marijuana licenses this coming Friday. Live in the Pearl District, Ken Body, KOIN 6 News.
Okay, well, that's KOIN 6. You know, that green cross that's become emblematic of medical marijuana here in the United States, if you go to Europe, that's actually the sign of a pharmacy. So when you see that green cross in Europe, it's a pharmacy. You can go in there like a drugstore and buy your sundries and get your prescriptions filled. But here in the United States, it's become associated just with medical marijuana, at least in the medical marijuana states. We are taking your phone calls tonight. If you have a question for us, you can call us at that number that's now on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. And we have a caller who's been standing by. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, I have a question on baking and also tinctures. On the baking, I guess you can't really just like bake cannabis by itself and use it that way because
you can. It depends on how thoroughly you have vaporized it. You said vaped, right?
Baked.
So baked. Yeah, you can activate cannabis through baking. What you have to do, see, cannabis, not all the THC Delta products are all up to the Delta 9. So when you have to heat it up or strip the carbon dioxide molecule. That's what happens when you heat it up. It's called decarboxylation. So that happens when you heat up cannabis to about 200 degrees or higher. So that activates some of the lower level THC to become Delta 9 THC. And so when you bake it, in process of baking your baked goods, it does that. It goes through that decarboxylation process.
Right. I was wondering though, like as far as using it by itself, or if it needs to be with an oil or fat, thing to absorb those products as they come off. Because I guess
I have a lot of antique cannabis medicines, and you can take it raw. They have it in capsules. They have it in topical form, in poultices and oils. You can eat it. You can inhale it. It's pretty versatile.
So the idea of having an oil or fatty,
that might help in the transport a bit, but it's not absolutely necessary.
Okay. And then the other question on tinctures, trying to find as high of alcohol-based, as you can, I guess. But I guess
here in Oregon you can get Everclear, which is 99% alcohol. But even making beer will extract that low level of 2% alcohol will extract the cannabinoids into the liquid.
Yeah, I was thinking if you use a lower alcohol level, but then just do it longer, you're still going to achieve basically the same results, I think.
Yeah, of course, the higher it is in the resins or the oil-soluble products, the more of that will be in the liquid when extracted.
Right. And then on Rick Simpson oil, is that like a tincture?
No, Rick Simpson is a pure extract. Generally, it's extracted with some sort of a solvent, and that solvent's completely evaporated. And so that's what's known. Some people call it Phoenix Tears. Fellow up in Newfoundland, Canada, Rick Simpson, popularized it in his video series Run from the Cure, about curing cancer with cannabis oil, as Mr. Simpson did. And so that's where it's got that term Rick Simpson oil, or RSO, but it's also known as Phoenix Tears. Some people just call it pure hemp extract, but it doesn't have any of the solvent remaining in it. It's not supposed to anyway.
Oh, wow. So something to...
And that's very, very potent. It doesn't take very much of that at all to be an effective medicine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate your information. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for the variety of calls. We have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hey, Paul. Hi, Casper. Great to see you guys tonight. Thanks for doing another wonderful show. I'm calling anonymously tonight. I'm a friend of the show, but I need to do this anonymously.
No problem.
To report on a patient that you're aware of that has just not quite 2 weeks ago started Rick Simpson oil for a condition caused by a misdiagnosis, actually a misprescribed drug, amiodarone. She has amiodarone pulmonary toxicity. She has pockets in her lungs with holes in her lungs. Her lungs are just completely holes, and you can imagine that. So she started this 2 weeks ago, the Rick Simpson oil. Obviously, she's doing a vapor. She's doing it through vapor, and her results are astounding. They're absolutely astounding.
So she's recovering from her trauma pretty effectively.
Phenomenally effectively. Yeah, this woman that could even with oxygen could hardly make it the 10 feet from her chair to her kitchen. Now, having started the RSO, the results are so phenomenal. Without oxygen, she can get up from her chair, go to the kitchen, wash dishes, do stuff, return to her chair, and still not even have any recovery time. She's so much better, and that's only in 10 days, and that is from the most modest consumption of Rick Simpson oil that you could imagine.
So she's putting it into a vaporizer and vaporizing it?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, she's not taking it orally.
That's my favorite method of consumption, I must say.
Yeah, well, we were able to consult with two of the doctors, one a biochemist, one an MD in this country that are the most expert on cannabis for medicinal purposes, and they both were extremely enthusiastic about her starting this. She has a bad heart, and that was why she was prescribed the amiodarone, and it was prescribed incorrectly, and the result after a year and a half was that she was nearly dead from the destruction to her heart. And it looks like Rick Simpson oil is giving her a new life.
Well, that's very encouraging. Got a little applause here in our studio audience.
Yeah, I knew.
And our best
everybody.
wishes and blessings and prayers go out to her.
And I know you want to remain anonymous, so Mrs. Obama, we won't let anybody know you called in.
Thank you. Thanks, Casper. I needed that.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You outed Michelle Obama.
I didn't mean to. I just, she's got that amazing voice.
All right. We have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller.
Oh, that was Barry. Sorry, I didn't mean. Well,
maybe he's hooked back up with the Chum gang.
Well, he was going to call in, and apparently he knows I can't keep my mouth shut. So
he's probably a little upset. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. And so
I got another comment.
Go ahead.
What on earth is the DEA going to do when this war on drugs is over? What are they going to? How are they going to find jobs? How are they going to feed their families? How are they going to make their bills? Good Lord. Hasn't anybody thought about that yet? That's something we need to take care of.
I don't know.
Why did you unplug me? Was it something
that's
I said?
Not you.
Oh.
That's this other one. Somebody told me there's an echo.
Oh.
So I figured, well, if I turn that off, maybe
all right.
there's
So
less
what's going to
chance
happen
of
to
an
the
echo.
DEA? Are they going to be able to make their bills and take care of their
They're
kids?
They're going to have to get a job like the rest of us. You know, they can't torture people anymore. Hopefully, I mean, there are people that believe, some of them believe what they're doing, some of them are doing it for a paycheck, some are doing it because they're corrupt. More the former than the latter, I think. But some of them have learned from being, on the front line of this war on drugs that it doesn't work. As our friend Neil Franklin, the head of law enforcement against Prohibition, has talked about. He had a friend of his murdered in a cocaine deal. And so that changed him. Now he's head of this national organization, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. And so we hope to have him on the show in the coming weeks.
Note,
we had him on your radio show just a week ago.
And we're going to have him back again because we had an echo problem then too. But on a serious note, I do wonder what's going to happen to the people behind bars when these laws are turned around and we're growing it for paper, fiber, and fuel, and we're creating medications and dispensaries and
well, just
jobs
today
out of this.
I propagated a petition out there from change.org that's up to about 350,000 signatures for some poor soul who's been in prison over 22 years, who at the age of 25 got a life without the possibility of parole. And there's dozens of them out there, so I'm hoping we'll be able to change that. There are people being executed for marijuana in Malaysia. If you have less than half a pound, 200 grams, that can get you hung in Malaysia, and it happens all the time. So our legalization efforts here in America, Washington, Colorado, us here in Oregon, now Alaska's going to be voting on it too, shines a ray of hope on that kind of situation.
There's been people in America who have moved to Colorado so they can get medication for themselves or for their kids or live safely. And I remember that 4 years ago, your amazing team of people and the loving people here in Oregon made it a point to help me get here to Oregon because my home state of Indiana has such draconian laws that to get arrested for an ounce or more in Indiana would have me tied up in courts and fighting
well,
with
it's so
the system and not doing
encouraging
the show.
to see these laws changing all over. But you know what? We've had a caller standing by, so let's go ahead and take that caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. I was wondering about cheaper places to maybe go get your card or something. I mean, the way I understand it, it's going to cost you about $200 to go. I don't want to go to my regular doctor.
Oh, well, there are places, including our clinics, THCF medical clinics, that specialize in giving patients private, out of their regular flow of medical information, medical marijuana permits. In fact, here in Oregon, THCF clinics helps over 30,000 patients each year. We have over 50%, close to 60% of all the patients in the state come through THCF medical clinics. We see patients from Medford and Grants Pass and Brookings to Pendleton and Bend and here in Portland, Salem, Eugene. So you can just call us at that number that's now there on your screen if you like. It's 503-281-5100. That's 503-281-5100. We also have clinics all over America. We've seen patients in over 60 cities across the United States, from Maine to Hawaii. And you can call us toll free at 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. And so we'd be happy to help you if you have one of the qualifying conditions in your state. So, we have a film clip we're going to run now. It is called Magic Weed. It's from a British production. And we've got a little clip. There's all the qualifying conditions, by the way. We'll be back in just a moment. Magic Weed.
In 1492, Christopher Columbus discovered America and at the same time introduced hemp to the New World. He offered the natives gifts including hemp seeds and cloths. Hemp was used to make sails and rope. Thanks to this crop, France, England, Spain and Portugal could strengthen and increase their maritime power. In 1620, the Mayflower brought the Pilgrims to conquer America. In the hold, it also brought hemp seeds. 100 years later, the first drafts of the American Constitution were written on hemp paper, The same paper was used in 1776 for the Declaration of Independence.
Cannabis seeds were now also brought into America by the African slaves.
Messieurs, voici un jeune homme en bonne santé, fort robuste, excellent travailleur. 400 piastres. 500 piastres. 600 piastres.
The Africans were captured in their own country to be used as slaves in America. They arrived without clothes and were given rough hemp clothes to wear. That was a traditional prison uniform. Western countries rediscovered cannabis, or at least its psychotropic properties, which had been hidden from people for centuries, during the expansion of their empires, which also introduced them to other cultural influences. The English rediscovered cannabis in India, and the French did the same in North Africa. When Bonaparte launched his Egyptian campaign, the soldiers brought back home many souvenirs, including hashish. The modern history of hashish in France goes back to Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. Bonaparte was almost assassinated by an Egyptian who had taken hashish. That's how our relation with cannabis started, because straight away Napoleon banned cannabis in Egypt. For a long time, there has been this theory in France. You can still hear it sometimes said, that the word assassin is derived etymologically from the word hashishin. But if you look closely at this theory, this is not a true derivation. Nevertheless, it has been used to discredit cannabis.
Okay, that was an excerpt from the British production Magic Weed. Kind of like it because they read from an article I wrote in Ed Rosenthal's book Hemp Today, which came out about 15 years ago. So
now it's hemp yesterday.
Now it's hemp yesterday, exactly. We have a couple phone calls standing by, though, so we're going to go ahead and take those questions.
And we got
a studio audience member.
Let's
take the question on the phone, then the studio audience member, and then the next question on the phone. Go right ahead, caller. Hello, caller.
Paul?
Yes.
This is Kim.
Hey, Kim.
You used to know me as Steve. I saw you in your office a few months ago. But listen, speaking of advancing the cause, I'm going to the ASA conference next week in Washington. I wondered if you had any advice for me. This is like a first-time deal for me. And
so as ASA, you mean Americans for Safe Access?
Huh?
Yeah. Well, just kind of network and see what you can do to help build the organization and help bring that home to us here in Oregon.
Okay.
Assuming you're an Oregon
I'll
resident.
be glad to do that. I'm real excited about it. A couple of members collecting signatures came by yesterday, and they were very polite and nice gentlemen. I appreciated talking to them.
Wonderful. That's exactly what I like to hear. We have a whole group of people out there canvassing and trying to gather signatures and raise funds and help us put these two initiatives on the ballot to end marijuana prohibition and stop arresting people for and putting them in jail for marijuana. And that's the main goal of our two initiatives.
Well, also I asked them when we needed to have those signatures turned in. I'd have to go look, but I just wondered if you knew off the top of the head.
The sooner the better. The sooner the better. But the latest date is July 3rd. They all have to be turned in to the Salem Secretary of State's office no later than 5 p.m. on Thursday, the 3rd of July. Right now we have just 1 day shy of 14 weeks to go.
How about dropping them off at your office?
Yeah, please drop them off as soon as possible.
Okay, but
that would be
before
great.
July.
And there's the office address. You say it.
No, I know where it is.
Good, good.
But
Well, thanks
no,
for
why don't
calling.
you throw
Thanks for your help. We greatly appreciate it.
And there's Into. Paul?
Yes.
Thank you very much for everything.
Hey, I'm glad to
I'll
do
talk
it.
to you when I get back.
Sounds good. Thank you, Steve. Kim.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And we have a studio audience member who's been helping us with the Cannabis Club Crawl, which is one of the things we're helping patients with, helping patients hook up with these new dispensaries. And you're on another fabulous Cannabis Club Crawl tonight, aren't you?
I am indeed. We actually visited 3 new places for us anyways. The first one we went to was Club Sky High in North Portland. They're on Lombard. They have lots to offer: clones, seeds, flowers, and concentrates.
Oh, apparently that microphone is not coming through on our soundboard. But I'll tell you what. Well, let's work on getting the sound up in just a second. We'll see what we can do and have you right back. We have another phone call, though. So welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller. No.
Why don't you call in?
No, we can't have that. Well, if you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4442.
Come here. You don't have to
don't
be on
wanna-
the camera. They'll put a close-up on him, and then you can talk. Put a close-up on Paul. Put a close. There you go. There you go.
Hi.
All right.
Okay, so you've been doing the fabulous club crawl for us.
Yeah, so tonight we headed up to Club Sky High, which is in North Portland on Lombard. And they just wanted to let everybody know that they have lots to offer there. They have clones, seeds, flowers, and concentrates. They are also family owned and operated, which
Right.
was really cool. Then we headed over to Pure Oregon on North Mississippi. And they wanted to share with everybody that they have a in-house produced Harlequin, which is high in CBDs, great for the patient.
All right, yeah, I've heard Harlequin's a high CBD strain.
Yeah, so they make tinctures and all kinds of great stuff. And then we went downtown to the Northwest area on 13th for Nectar. They actually have a full melt bubble hash, which we have heard rumors of, but have never been able to actually find it until now. So you can find
I know
that
a
there.
fellow who has done our logo here on the show
Yeah.
has been working on developing graphics for that particular place.
Yeah, I love that place. Everyone there is really, really nice. And as always, if any patients are interested in joining us, they can find us on facebook.com/ccc.pdx.
All right, well, thank you very much. All right, so that is the report there. If you're interested in getting involved in that, just go to that Facebook website and you can get involved. So we... I don't know about clones. Do they have clones? Do they have baby plants? No, they don't have clones, apparently. They've got tinctures and the actual flowers, apparently. Maybe you can go ask them about it and let us know.
There must be clones.
You know, we have a
Send in the
very
clones.
famous guy who has endorsed our initiative, and I have the pleasure of going to see him here next week. He did a video for us about a year and a half ago. Maybe it was almost 2 years ago now. And I went in and filmed this with a little handheld video right after he had done this song that turned out to be the soundtrack for the movie Lawless. So it's a pretty quick song, but this video was filmed in the studio that Willie Nelson recorded the soundtrack for the movie Lawless. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson, and I urge you to support the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act to regulate marijuana and restore industrial hemp. This initiative will end adult marijuana prohibition and let our criminal justice officers focus limited resources on real criminals and not on marijuana users like me. OCTA will also allow farmers to grow hemp for fuel, fiber, and food, to create jobs and help our economy. Please support OCTA. Thank you.
And so Willie is supporting ACTA. He is also working on our 2014 campaign. Like I said, I have the great pleasure of going to see him next week, so we'll have more announcements in the coming week about that. So if you have a question or comment out there, you can give us a call at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. And
how are the outdoor gardens doing here in Oregon?
It's a little early. It's a little early. You know, it's too early to put them out. If you put them out right now, they just go into flower and they wouldn't grow very much.
All right.
So typically in Portland, and you know, it depends on the latitude you're in, but in Portland, it's good to wait till the last few days of April or the first few days of May. Sometime in that window, once the daylight exceeds 14 hours of daylight in the day. You want more than 14 hours of daylight, especially if you've had plants indoors on more than 14 hours a day. So if you've had plants that are on an 18-hour cycle of light or a 24-hour cycle, and you put them out into a light cycle that's less than 14 hours, they'll go into flower, and that will stunt their return to vegetative growth.
Okay.
So that is my advice for you outdoor budding gardeners.
And look at these great products that are made of hemp right there on the camera.
We have our hemp flame of freedom. This is a hemp wick with hemp oil. Hemp oil, like this hemp oil, is poured right in here in a hemp wick, straight from this. Next week's wick will be this. But we have these neat cannabis energy drinks. One is made in Austria. This one's made in the United States. They both have pretty much the same ingredients. They have taurine and inositol and caffeine and hemp seed oil and other things. So there are these hemp energy drinks. I like to put hemp energy right behind the flame of freedom because it's energy of a different sort.
And as much herb as you and I have medicated on, you and I are both made of hemp.
Okay. We have another caller who's been standing by. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, how you doing?
Very well. How are you?
Good. Good to see you guys, Paul, Casper.
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment about the clubs. When the girl was talking about the clubs,
Yeah.
I just it happens to be my night off I happen to be in Multnomah County is the Mecca. I happen to work in an only 24-hour, including holidays, 24/7, including holidays and snowstorms, never closing club in the United States of America until two opened up, one in Beaverton and one in Gresham. But just for conversation, our club is very casual, as those clubs are as well. I just wanted to bring it up for conversation. A lot of people don't know.
That's a long time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
When the snowstorm happened, there was people.
Does that include like Christmas and?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, you said that. Short-term memory loss there, I guess.
And so as far as the medibles go, do you know the ruling on that?
The what?
The ruling.
You know, the Oregon Health Authority has said that they aren't going to allow medibles, but as a temporary emergency rule, I know there's fighting over that. We're still in such an early stage of this process. I think that ruling will be retracted. It certainly isn't in effect. I know they haven't done any inspections to my knowledge yet, but you know, we happen to have a nifty little medible right here that somebody put here, and I'm just going to go ahead and show it. It's qi, which in Chinese, qi means breath or life, and it's Chico. So it's like the city in California, Chico. It's a spicy cinnamon melt-away.
As in Harpo and Groucho?
I guess so. And it contains cannabis flower extracts. It says, warning, medical product, keep out of reach of children.
I know, but it looks so nice and pretty that children might want to touch it. It's so appealing.
Oh, that's good.
There. You got a glare on it?
Isn't that what the new ruling is? They don't want it to be appealing to kids, so you want to put it in brown paper and write "Do not touch."
That's what they're worried about. That's for sure. So anyway, so right now, there isn't any definitive rule in place yet. Okay, hope that helped.
Thank you.
Once again,
but the people in Colorado now since 2012 are getting released from jail. Now that's good.
Yeah, that's wonderful, isn't it? Some of them, anyway. Hopefully, all the other people, especially those poor people who've been in there 20, 30 years with life without the possibility of parole, hopefully they'll be getting out of jail soon, too.
Hopefully, if it was legal in America, but it's only 2012 in Colorado now, so.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for your phone call. Appreciate that. Good luck with your round-the-clock club. I don't know. I would think in the 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., it would get a little slow, but.
I don't know. When I lived in Indiana, there was times
you got
when I
night
would call
owls.
Finn Benny and buy me an ounce, and I go clear across town at 3 in the morning to score an ounce if I needed it.
All right.
Thank you, Thin Benny.
All right. Well, that's good. So we're down to just about 5 minutes left here.
Right.
I want to remind our viewers, the whole reason we started this show, and we're up to what number? Like 730, 740 shows so far. I lost track. But we've got a number on them in the studio. And so this show is about ending marijuana prohibition. And we started it to help our petition drive way back in the 90s. And we didn't do a petition drive for about 10 years there, but we put Measure 80 on the ballot 2 years ago. And we're working to try to put these two other initiatives on the ballot now. We'd like you to go to our website, hemp.org, click on initiative number 21 or 22. You'll be able to print that initiative out if you have a printer at home and sign that and bring it to our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard. Or you can mail it in to us at that address. It's here in Portland, area code 97232. That's 97232. Or just bring it into the office and get more petitions if you like. Or if you don't have a printer at home, you can call us and we'll mail it to you. So just call us at 503-235-4606. We'll be happy to send you a few single signature sheets if that's all you want, or we'll send you as many signature sheets as you want. If you want to go out and be a volunteer, just give us a call, 503-235-4606. Casper, let's do a final plug for your radio network, your international radio network on iHeartRadio, and where else?
It is on iHeart, iTunes, Tumblr, SoundCloud, timeforhemp.com, and of course, iHeartRadio. We want you to tune in with all your friends. That's how we're going to grow. The best way to share information like this is the same way you share your joint. You pass it on, and you keep passing it on to everybody who's gotten their fill. So we got all kinds of great hosts on there talking about ending prohibition, growing plants, smoking plants, bongs.
You got music, too.
We got great music on there as well, from talk to information. And so if you want to keep up on what's going on with the marijuana movement and the hemp movement all around the world, go to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network at timeforhemp.com. Thank you again for the shameless plug.
Certainly. And speaking of shameless plugs, if you or a loved one have need of a doctor to help you get a medical marijuana permit, then our clinics kind of help fund the petition drive and will help you get a medical marijuana permit all the way from Maine to Hawaii and many points in between. So if you need help locating a doctor, you can call us at that number there on your screen here in Portland. It's 503-281-5100. If you're in Portland, please use that number there on your screen. If you're outside of Portland, you can call us toll free at 1-800-723-0188. That number that's now on your screen, 1-800-723-0188. We're going to go out on another fantastic tune from Mr. John Cornette. Are you ready with a couple minutes of music, John?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say regarding what you were just talking about. What were we just talking about?
I can't remember.
Medical marijuana, Time for Hemp Radio. Did you get really stoned there while we were here doing the show?
Never mind. Anyway, this is a song about taking our land back.
Okay. We want you to go out with this fantastic song, some wonderful photos from THCF Medical Gardens. Tune in next week and help us restore hemp.
was a gallant blade. Then he strode he on the plain. Now he's banished far away. No, no, come back again. Oh, for him back again. Oh, for him back again. Past his land, and then Harry back again. When all the lay were in their bed, I wandered down we up the glen, sat me down and get my fill, for healing Harry back again. Oh, for him back again. Oh, for him back again. I would give all Knock Haspy's land, for healing Harry back again. Oh, for him back again. Oh, for him back again. I would give all Knock Haspy's land, heal Harry back again. Where some villains hang 'em high, and everybody had his eye, I would hear the joyful sound, healing Harry back again. Oh, for him back again. Oh, for